Ape Escape 3 turned out better than I expected. Yeah, that happened with House of the Dead 4 as well, didn't it? I think the thing that shocked me about Ape Escape 3 is that not only does the new transformation feature they've included work, and I didn't think it was going to work, also, just in general, it seems like more of the second one, and the second game was so much better than the first. So it just seems to have continued onwards. In terms of what kind of games I enjoy platformers the most. I've always been a platformer fan, and Ape Escape 3 is finally the first Ape Escape game you can call a solid platform, a comfortable platform, because it feels like a comfortable platformer. It's the first time that I've held a PlayStation 2 controller in my hands for quite a while, well, you know, DualShock, and the game has just flowed for me. The last time that happened was Dog's Life on PlayStation 2. Games aren't usually this comfortable. Why do I like Ape Escape 3? I like it because it's generally quite fun. The game is just about capturing monkeys. And that part of the game is fun. When your core gameplay mechanic hits the right spot, it's good. It's spot on exactly what you're after. In terms of the soundtrack, I'm really pleased with the soundtrack. It has a nice mix of levels with melody, and it has a nice mix of that drum and bass from the first Ape Escape game. And it's a nice little mixture. It works really well, and it doesn't detract from the game any. It's still fun to listen to while you're running around capturing all these monkeys. And I do like the selection of tools for capturing the monkeys. It doesn't seem to have changed at all from the last game. In fact, a couple of the extra stronger weapons are gone because in their place is this new transformation gimmick, which also works fantastically. It doesn't feel tacked on in any way. Basically, you've got this extra gadget and you store personas in it, and these personas give you different special moves, and you earn them throughout the story mode. It's quite entertaining because you're playing the game normally and it's a really enjoyable game, and then you get to, I think it's, which level is it? Nightmare on Palm Street? Oh god. Oh, the level names are so stupid, I'll get to that in a minute. You get to one of these levels, and then the lady, this Aki, this scientist who you're working with, goes, Oh, I've managed to create a new persona. It is the magical knight persona. What? And you go to the training room, and now all of a sudden your main character is dressed up in knight gear, like shining armor, and she's got a fucking magic wand, right? And suddenly the game just is kicked up 5-6 notches once you've got the transformation ability, because you start unlocking all these personas you can transform into, including Chinese martial artist, Japanese ninja, or even giant monkey suit. And all these transformations have these different abilities that you have to use to capture all of the monkeys in the game. But also, some of them are just generally faster, so you switch into them so it's faster to move. There are some of them that are really good for combat, so if you see a room full of enemies, you think, okay, well, if I choose the Chinese martial artist, I can rotate the right analog stick and charge at their attacks, and then I can beat them all up. Also, if you've played Ape Escape or Ape Escape 2, you've probably come across the vehicles, you know, like the robots or the boats or the tanks that you can control. And Ape Escape 3 has those, and they're as tricky to use as before. Like, the thing about Ape Escape was that it was made for DualShock controllers, so everything had to be done with the sticks, yeah? You know? Like, to show off the fact that the controller had analog sticks, right? So, I'm not well. They had to show off that everything could be done with the analog sticks. However, between the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2, in that time, developers realized that you don't have to do everything with the analog sticks. In fact, if you do everything with the analog sticks, like in Skate, your game sucks. So Ape Escape 2 still used the analog sticks for everything, and for the most part running around trying to capture the apes, it works, but trying to pilot vehicles, it's still completely unplayable. And then Ape Escape 3 does the same thing again. I know that it's like a series trademark that you've got to use the analog sticks for every action, but you don't have to use the analog stick for every function. You don't have to. You could change it and step it up a gear. I mean, you did that for Ape Escape on the loose on the PSP. Well, to be fair, the PSP doesn't have a second analog stick. That version of Ape Escape had very easy to drive vehicles, very easy to use vehicles, and the controls worked. So why couldn't they just do that with Ape Escape 3 instead of having to do all the analog stick stuff? And the reason why is because you can't teach an old dog new tricks. The story of Ape Escape 3 is a bit peculiar, but at least there is a story. I mean, Ape Escape 1 was sort of like, oh no, the monkeys have taken over, blah 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 blah, go capture them, Spike. That's what the first game was like. And then the second game is like, more of the same. It's like, oh, the monkeys have taken over again, go catch them, character who looks like the main character from the first game but isn't. So the third game kind of changes it around a bit. It starts to give it a theme. Yes, once again, the white monkey Spectre has taken over the world and enslaved monkeys and brainwashed them to do his bidding. Yeah, that's no different. But this time, he is taking over the world by sending out a television broadcast that is designed to numb the minds of people and turn them into dribbling potatoes. Funnily enough, what television is like now. Right? And you have to stop this television broadcast. The problem is, the Professor and the two main characters from the first two Ape Escape games have been watching the TV and have been brainwashed by it, so they can't help. So the Professor's daughter, Natalie, or Natsumi, or whatever name she is in your region, she phones up Professor Ape, who is a new character. And Professor Ape has two, I'm not sure if they're her children or if they're just her students, but has these two scientists working for her, who are both 9, and one is Satoru and one is Sayaka. And they are siblings, twin siblings, although they look nothing alike. The boy, Satoru, there isn't really any benefit to playing as him. Sayaka is the girl, and there is a benefit to playing as her, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So, Sayaka and Satoru set out to capture these monkeys and stop Spectre's evil plans once again. But the interesting thing this time is that you've got a main human villain as well, working alongside Spectre, and he is amazing. He is comedy gold. Dr. Tomuki. Dr. Tomuki is a really entertaining character.
Presenting befriended by monkeys, feared by fellow man, the ultimate scientist. 28 years old, single, 6'4", including afro, 140 pounds, including afro. Favorite word, perfect, and an uncanny IQ of 1300. Yes, that's me, Dr. Tomuki. And don't you dare forget it.
He is an amazing character. Dr. Tomuki is really entertaining, and the boss battle with him, although you had to pilot a really annoying double analog stick vehicle, to beat him, it was still fun. He does the whole selfless sacrifice thing. He's an amazing character. And, yeah, he was definitely one of the highlights of the game. So you can play as either this Satoru or this Sayaka. And the benefit to playing as Sayaka is that she's actually a platinum-selling musician. Yeah, at the age of 9, go figure. And basically, because she's so well known on TV in the Ape Escape universe, there's a lot of monkeys who will just let you capture them if you're playing as Sayaka. They will see Sayaka and they will just fall down in a dazed state and let you capture them. Yeah. Basically, you get about 12 free monkeys in the whole game that you'd have to go to extra effort to catch a Satoru. If you're playing as Sayaka, you're just allowed to catch them. They will just let you catch them. I thought it was peculiar, but at the same time, that's the benefit to playing as Sayaka. There really is no difference. All of them still have the same personas, they still have the same attacks, they still have the same gadgets. They have different cutscenes, depending on who you're playing as, but the main beginning cutscenes and the main ending cutscenes are the same, because both characters appear in them. But the boss battle cutscenes will be different depending on which character you're playing as. I really think this is a really, really good game. It's a really, really good platformer, and for its age, it still looks remarkable. Playing the game for the first time the other day, I played it all day and beat it in one day. I beat the whole story in one day. And now I'm going through in my spare time and working towards 100% completion, and I'm enjoying every second. Interesting things about the game, this is the first Ape Escape game where the apes, when attacking you, monkeys, when attacking you, can take the weapon or item out of your hands and steal it. The monkeys can capture you if they get your net. That was cool. That was really cool. There were some levels that I didn't like, mainly the levels that take place in the air. I've never liked air stages. That's particularly why I don't like the stage Tip-Top Gun. Yeah, all the levels are based off like television shows or movies, which is entertaining for a while, but then it starts to... You start to see how they've taken way too many liberties with what they're referencing. Like, let's put it this way, the level called Tell Me How to Get to Simeon Street. Yeah. The level, Can You Tell Me How to Get to Simeon Street, has stuff in it that is not based off Sesame Street. Just how much is the level Tip-Top Gun, the only relevance to Top Gun is that it takes place in the air and there are some planes. What else? The sinking of the Montanic quotes, "My heart can't go on." There is one area that even so much as vaguely resembles the Titanic. And yes, you can make the Titanic sink. The level designs are peculiar, but that's what makes them so great, because the second game's level designs were a bit generic, and it's nice to see they finally played up the theme idea and taken it as far as they can take it. Overall, this is a very good PlayStation 2 game, and if you are a collector of PlayStation 2 games, or you are someone who still plays the PlayStation 2 religiously because, of course, it is the best console ever made, then you might want to consider getting Ape Escape 3. It's not a bad little game. In fact, it's so much better than the first two. And if you liked the first game, or the second game, you will love Ape Escape 3. You will love it. But yes, it is different and it is better. But you can see where it's been influenced by the first two, and you can see where it's been influenced by other platformers and games leading up to when it was released. With all these high-definition compilations coming out, I seriously think that Sony should consider an Ape Escape HD collection. How about giving us the original Ape Escape, or the remake, on PSP, but with DualShock controls? The second and the third games in one collection, in high definition. I would pay top dollar for that. It is such a good game, Ape Escape 3, and I would be happy to play through it again if there were trophies on the line, because I'm having so much fun playing through it now with no validation for my efforts. It's still a fantastically fun game, and even though now the game has become a checklist operation, I'm going through and getting all the monkeys I missed, it's still really fun to do so. I must say that Ape Escape 3 gets my recommendation, and anybody who is a fan of platformers should get it immediately. Track it down, it's worth every penny. It's one of the best platformers on the PS2 that I've played, and it's the first time that an Ape Escape game has actually felt like a platformer. It's actually felt comfortable to control. It's up there in terms of control with Crash Twinsanity, KO the Kangaroo 2, and all those solid platformers like Sly Raccoon, games that have really good controls. Ape Escape 3 has really good controls. It still feels like the first two Ape Escape games. It still revolves around, rotates around the analog sticks, but it also offers so much more than those previous games. I honestly think you'd be hard-pressed to find a better Ape Escape game, and I think you'd honestly be hard-pressed to find a better platformer on the PlayStation 2. Anyway, I've been me, this is my show. Until next time. If we live that long.
Sweet little you! Oh, adorable! Well, what will it be?
What will it be, what?
Fight me or go on a date, silly? Now, don't be shy.
You're joking!
Come on, what will it be? Handsome.
That's no choice.